Obviously when I get the book I can read the— oh my god! Lewis Capaldi has done it again, kids. He's the guy version of Adele because he can write those bangers. He can write those bangers that you know he's been through heartbreak and you're like, honey, who hurt you? I'm so excited to see him in March. I'm going to see him in March. I'm so excited. Anyway, off track. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello, my name is Charlotte. I have been a little bit MIA from this channel, not like for ages, for like just over a week, because I just needed to take a step back. I just needed to breathe. I'm actually filming this 2 days after I uploaded a video, so in a sense I've just lied to you. I haven't been a brave booktube for a while, but when you're seeing this I am. I just needed to take a bit of a time after doing weekly vlogs and just had the pressure of always editing and uploading. So instead I'm kind of pre-filming like a couple of videos so I can just like slowly edit them across the next couple of weeks. It will make me feel a lot more calmer. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys, or telling you guys some books, about 5 books that I want to read before the end of 2019. I nearly said 2020, end of 2019. It's less of a like a, oh, I would love to read these but I don't know if I will. It's more of a, I need to read these and I will read them. One of them is like a, maybe I should read it because it's a short book, it's easy to get through. Most of them are like, I will be reading them by the end of the year, so it's kind of like a TBR, kind of like a definitive TBR. I think without further ado, we should just jump in, talk about these 5 books. So the first book is, I don't have it on me, it is on its way, but I don't have it with me at the moment, and that is Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley, is it Wesley Chu? I think so. This is the first book in the, I forgot the name of the trilogy name, but it's basically like a Magnus Bane trilogy centering around him and Alec. If you don't know who I'm talking about the Shadowhunter world. I'm talking about Magnus and Alec from the Shadowhunter world, and it's basically just centering around them and I think their time between City of Glass and City of Fallen Angels. I think that's the time that it's in between. This came out at the beginning of the year, but I didn't get it and I didn't read it because it came out in hard copy and I just prefer paperback. I know that's a very snobbish thing to do. First of all, hardcovers are more expensive and I just prefer reading paperbacks. So I'm saving myself money and I'm just making my reading experience a lot better. So what if I have to wait a bit longer for a book? It just means I'm a happier person and I'm saving a bit of money. Obviously when this whole trilogy was announced, I was so excited because it's Malik. It's Malik and I love Malik with my whole heart, and I have just been really wanting to read it. I think I've heard like, not like mixed reviews, but I've heard people say that it's not as good as the rest of, you know, the other kind of Shadowhunter books, which obviously like amazing, we love them, but it's still good, you know, it's still enjoyable because it is Malik. It might just not be as amazing, and I'm kind of just one of those people who doesn't care because A, it's Shadowhunters, and B, it's Malik. It's Malik. I just don't care. We're getting a whole trilogy of Malik and I'm so excited. This I will definitely hopefully be reading, and I just can't wait to actually have it because it's obviously, I don't have it yet, so when I get it through the post, your girl's gonna be excited. Been highly anticipating it for a while and I'll finally have it soon. It's on its way. I just need it. Another book that I want to read, or I think I will definitely be reading this by the end of 2019, is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I have been meaning to read this series, this trilogy, for so long because I've read the Six of Crows duology and I just need to get on to reading this trilogy. Obviously, I'm more motivated, as I said previously in other videos, I am more motivated to read it because of the whole casting and Ben Barnes. Oh my god, look! Charlotte's mentioning Ben Barnes in a video again. If you're new here, I pretty much mention Ben Barnes in like every single video of mine. In a sense, he's not my favourite, like I say that as I hate him, I don't. He's not like my, he's up there as like my top favourite actors and people. But like, he's not like my top. I think because he's now involved with the book world and because we all love him anyway, because we all like book Twitter and booktube and love him, I think that's why I'm mentioning him more, and because obviously he's related to Shadow and Bone. But it's just really weird because if my friends IRL, if they would guess at anybody that I would mention the most in my videos, it would be the like Will Poulter or like Tom Holland. Anyway, back to the book. I've been meaning to read this for so long, and now the like casting the TV show is hyping me, it's getting me ready, and the group chat that I'm in on Twitter, we've decided to do like a little Shadow and Bone, just like a little, just among us, a little kind of Grishaverse read along kind of with ourselves. So each month we'll read a different, you know, Grishaverse books. We'll start with the Shadow and Bone trilogy, then move on to Six of Crows duology. I might reread the Six of Crows duology, it depends on the month and like how busy I am, I think I can get not Shadow and Bone, I think I can get Six of Crows on audiobook, so I could probably read it that way. I will be reading this in December, and December is so soon. And I'm so excited because it's Shadow and Bone. It is the Grishaverse, it's the Grisha trilogy. So super excited, which means then once I've read the trilogy, I have no excuse but to be super hyped, to be like the #1 stan for this show. And I just love these covers. I love these covers. I have all 3 of the books because I impulse bought them. Another book that I know I will most definitely be reading by the end of the year. I'll definitely start it before the end of the year. If I end up not finishing it by the end of the year due to like when I do start it, or just because of Christmas and stuff, oh well, but I'll definitely start it before the end of the year because of a read-along that I'm doing, and that book is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. I am taking part in Jaden from the Lit Chicks Bridget Kemmerer read-along. We're currently reading Call It What You Want, that's what it's called, Call It What You Want, and we've read Letters to the Lost and what was the one before that, More Than We Can Tell. Those are the 2 we have read, so I'm reading Call It What You Want, and then the last 2 books that we'll be reading is A Curse So Dark and Lonely, so we're ready for the next book, A Heart So Fierce and Broken, I think that's what it's called, which comes out at the beginning of next year. So we're starting to read A Curse So Dark and Lonely from December 15th to January 15th. I will hopefully be picking up A Curse So Dark and Lonely on December 15th or a few days after. I'm super excited to be reading this because so many people on BookTube love this book. I've read it, and I remember obviously when it kind of came out and when it kind of started getting its hype, and now that, you know, usually with really hyped books I don't read them because of like money and because of like the scareness, that's not a sentence, Charlotte. I'm not scared of the hype, but how much like sometimes the hype makes me not, it doesn't make me not want to read the book, but a lot of the time if someone says, oh my god, this book is amazing, obviously I'll be like, I really want to read it, but it doesn't mean like straight away, because again, as I said, money and time. I have wanted to read this book for a while, and now that in a sense I'm not being forced to, but I have more of a motivation to because I'm taking a part in this read along, it means I can, it means I'm going to, so I'm super excited too. I feel like I don't know too much about it, which I'm both annoyed at myself because I should. Also, I'm happy because, again, going to a book blind. A bird nearly like flew at my window. That was terrifying. I don't know too much about it, but obviously when I get the book I can read the— oh my god! Oh my god! Jesus Christ! That bird just flew back down and scared the— oh my god! Oh. I actually completely forgot what I was talking about. But once I get the book, I obviously will know more about it because I can read the synopsis. Can these birds stop flying so near my window? But at the moment, I don't really know too much about it, but I am excited because obviously the majority, or the books I have read by Bridget Kemmerer so far, have been contemporaries, but this one I know does delve into fantasy, so very excited for that. And I feel like I haven't read too many fantasy books recently just because of life. So I'm excited to get into some more fantasy because I've been missing fantasy. I feel like fantasy is always a genre that always keeps me wanting to read, if you get what I mean, because it's fantasy and because like the stakes are higher. I'm always like, I need to keep reading, I need to keep reading. For a couple of months I've always thought that contemporaries are my favourite because I get through them easier, they're an easier read. But I think when I read too many contemporaries, I miss fantasy and I miss the high stakes kind of engagement of fantasy. I can now kind of say that I need to always either break it up or have a period when I read some contemporaries and then read some fantasies, and I'm going off track. Curse So Dark and Lonely, so excited to finally read this book because everybody has read it. Bridget Kemmerer hasn't let me down so far, so I've got good high hopes for her. The next book that I am planning, or will definitely, if I don't end up DNFing it or something, be reading by the end of the year because I have to read it for university, and that is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. This is one of the books that I've always been meaning to read because there's a TV show and I want to read the book before I watch the TV show. So I have been meaning to read it for a while, just haven't got around to it because it's like a classic. It's more putting me off of it because I'm not the best with classics, but now I have to read it because I have to read it for university. This book was originally published in 1985, so I think I've read a lot of books from the 80s, so I think I'll definitely be more able to read this than like more other classics, but it's still kind of like a more modern classic. But I'm very excited and very intrigued to read it because I know it's very well loved, very critically acclaimed, and obviously so many people love it and love the TV show. I'm very much looking forward to reading it, and I don't feel like I want to go in with any expectations, because if I went in with the expectations of like, oh my god, everybody loves it because it's a modern classic, then I might come up being like disappointing. So I'm gonna go with medium expectations. I obviously now, since getting the book, I've kind of learnt more about what it is about, because before I did, even with the TV show, I didn't really look into it because I didn't really want spoilers and I didn't really want to go in knowing too much. so I didn't really know too much what it's about, but now that I know it's about a world, or like a dystopian world, where kind of some women become infertile, and the women that are fertile are kind of raised or kind of made to be handmaids, where they're basically sent to live with a family to basically have a child every month. So I'm excited to get around to reading this. I will probably read it in the next couple of weeks. Excited, intrigued, nervous. And the final book that I not necessarily know I'm going to read, but maybe I can read because it's a short one, because it is like a novella. I read the first book in this series in summer, and because I liked the first book, I decided that I wanted to read all the books in order, including the novellas. So I read the first book, so now I need to read 1.5 before I can read 2. The physical book I have is a bind up of 2 novellas, so you've got 1.5 and 2.5. Technically, like, I don't necessarily have to read it, but if I want to get the full experience of this story and of this series, then I wanted to. And it is also a very popular and beloved series, even though it doesn't say the right title on the front. The story that I do want to read is Destroy Me by Tahara Mafi. This, again, as I said, is a novella, is the novella that comes after the first book in the series. Obviously I've read Shatter Me. I didn't like ultimately love Shatter Me. I wasn't like, oh my god, this is the best book ever. I think I gave it like a 3.5 or a 4, or it's somewhere in between that. But as I said, I want to get the full experience of this series. Maybe at some point when I'm reading this series, my rating doesn't really go up as it was, you know, for Shatter Me, and it doesn't really improve or it gets worse. I probably might just not finish the series. But for now, I want to get the most out of the series because it's a very beloved series, or very popular at least. This book in itself is already small, and this is like 2 books in it. The story is literally 107 pages, so I could read this in 2-3 days if I was being lazy. When I was like compiling a list of all the books that I wanted to read or I could talk about in this video, I only had 4, and I was like, I'll make it 5, I'll try and make it 5. So I was thinking, and I went, oh, I'll just pick a short one, and so I picked Destroy Me. And also, if I do get this read, it means I can just move on with the series. I'm not like waiting around to read a short story before I can continue the series. So maybe if I get to the end of the year and I just need something quick to read, I can read this. Those are all the books that I know I will be reading / maybe will read before the end of 2019. I can't believe 2019 is nearly over. We only have like a month, just over a month, like a month and 2 weeks, whatever, left. That is terrifying. We're going into a new decade. That's even weirder. Like, obviously each year we're like, oh, it's a new year, but now it's like, it's a new year and a new decade. Oh god, the world's going to crap. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of the books, any of your thoughts. And let's make a prayer circle that I will read all these books by the end of the year. If I do, that's going to take my Goodreads reading challenge thing up, so I'll be nearer, because I was thinking I'll definitely read like 65 books this year, so it'll take it up to more nearer 70 hopefully. So thank you for watching. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. All my social media links are in the description below if you guys go check out. And with that all said and done, I'll see you all in my next video.